Yo, have you tried the Google Pixel 6a? It's really, really good. It's just like my Pixel 6. The camera isn't as good always, but it's really, really close. I don't want to hear about the Google Pixel 6a. It has 6 GB of RAM. It's got like an Exynos chipset, and everyone knows that Exynos is terrible. And it's like way more expensive than a Poco F3. Right, but like the actual experience of using this device is really, really fast and fluid. The screen's really good, you can see it outdoors easily. I've actually really been surprised by 6 GB of RAM. It performs way better than I thought. Ha ha ha, 6 GB of RAM. That's cute, man. You know, my Redmi 9 had like 8 GB of RAM, and that device was $200. You think that your Pixel 6a with 6 GB of RAM is gonna be better than my Redmi 9 with 8 GB? You think that 6 GB of RAM is a reason that this isn't a fast flagship killer? Really? Dude, the only reason that you have the word flagship killer is because Xiaomi invented it with the Poco F1. And yeah, at that time, that device launched with 6 GB of RAM, but that device also launched for $300. The Pixel 6a isn't even close to that. For that kind of money, I can just go get like a Xiaomi Poco F3, Mi 12X, and then just go flash some ROM on it that like a Pakistani kid did on an Abacus in his mom's basement. It's the same. Wait. If you think that 6 GB of RAM is an issue, let me prove to you that it's not an issue right now. Hey guys, my name is Mitchell. I'm fluent in tech, so you don't need to be. I've been using the Google Pixel 6a alongside the Google Pixel 6 now for a little over 3 weeks. I've also used a variety of other things that we would call flagship killer devices in the past, stock ROMs with Pixel Experience ROM, and honestly, I think that we should be calling the Google Pixel 6a exactly what it is. A flagship killer in 2022, as the day-to-day performance of this, in my opinion, is about as good as we could get. And on top of that, I don't really see a difference in performance between this, my Google Pixel 6, and for that matter, the Google Pixel 6 Pro, and that's the flagship device right now from Google, and there's a lot of quality of life enhancements that just overall come with a Pixel device that really make it uncomparable to things like an iPhone, Samsung phone, and as someone that uses both an S21 Plus and 2 Google Pixels, I find myself going for the Google Pixel more. Now today I want to show you guys that 6 GB of RAM isn't a limiting factor in this whole flagship killer equation. And I also want to thank the sponsor for today's video, TechFluent. I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys more about them at the end of this video. But let's go down and see if 6 GB of RAM are really an issue. So recently I've seen a lot of comments about the Google Pixel 6a having 6 GB of RAM and whether or not that 6 GB of RAM was going to hurt the performance when compared to the Google Pixel 6. Now, being that I'm a Pixel 6 owner and I've been using the Pixel 6a right next to it for a little more than 2 weeks, I found that the day-to-day usage between the two devices to be nearly identical. But to test this, I wanted to see how many apps we could get the device to hold in memory within a reasonable margin. So within this point of the video, I've opened up a variety of apps. None of these are gaming specific apps because I wouldn't call this a gaming specific phone. But these are media intensive apps, things like Google Images, YouTube, Instagram, and Spotify. And as you can see, all of these apps are being held in memory totally fine. So now let's throw some more apps at it, like the Play Store. It's not the most demanding app, but it definitely does take up some system resources, and again, flawless performance. Now I'm gonna spoil the ending for you guys because at the end of this, I was able to hold 15 apps in memory and multitask between them simultaneously without a hiccup. And while none of them were games specifically, I wouldn't say that this was a gaming test. If you guys want a gaming test, go ahead and comment down below and I can do a gaming test specifically for you guys with some titles that you might want, etc. Something more intensive that I have been testing with the Google Pixel 6a has been how it does with media encoding and how well I can edit and export videos out of Adobe Rush. Now, I also use Adobe Rush on my S21 Plus with the Exynos chipset, and I can say that my Pixel 6a has been exporting videos faster than my S21 Plus. Now, that S21 Plus has 8 gigabytes of RAM, 128 gigabytes of storage, but I think that for pure processing speed, especially with tasks related to real-world usage, such as media encoding, the Google Pixel 6a is running without a flaw. Now, if you want an in-depth video editing breakdown where I do rendering tests, you can comment that and I'll probably do something like that if I have enough of a demand. But I think that, as you guys can see here, utilizing the Google Pixel 6a with apps that most people, including myself, use on a day-to-day basis in a way that most people use them, which is some light multitasking, this device is going to perform fine. Whatever Google has done with this Tensor chipset and the UI has allowed them to shocking that the device that has 6 gigabytes of RAM can easily hold 15 apps in the background. No, none of them were games. It's not really a gaming specific phone. This is just an overall general use case phone for people that like to take photos and have their camera fully integrated with their social media apps. I find that really convenient for someone that posts a lot on Instagram, and you guys should give me a follow if you're over on Instagram. Now, I want to thank TechFluent for sponsoring today's video. They make these awesome pouches. You put them on the back of your laptop and you can go ahead and secure your hard drive to the back of your laptop and prevent breaks or any other kind of damage to your optically spinning hard drive. We also have them in a smaller size if you're an SSD user, and really just stop it with all the cables and stuff hanging off your laptop. It's just a disaster waiting to happen. Until next time, it's been Mitchell, apparently being interrupted by loud trucks outside. Peace.